Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to TGLP, the Gamers Loving Podcast. We are your hosts, Nate and Justin. We're here to talk to you guys today about a lot of fun things. How you doing today, Justin?
Yo, I'm chilling. Can't complain. Can't
All right,
complain.
man. We gotta get right down to business. So, Romaine, iceberg lettuce, where you at?
All right, man. The look of iceberg lettuce, top tier. All right, it's juicier. It looks good. However, uh, I heard it's got diseases, bro. It's been recalled too many times, about four too many times for me personally. So I don't eat it. I don't eat it
Diseases.
myself.
Explain. Elaborate. What do you mean by diseases exactly? Hold on. Let me
Look,
look this up for you.
I could do a little research. I can do a little
Iceberg
research.
iceberg lettuce diseases. Let's see.
Mainly, I think Chipotle was running into this problem,
Bottom rot
where their
generally.
iceberg
Oh,
lettuce.
I got it up right here. Bottom rot generally affects iceberg, Boston, and Bib varieties of lettuce and can be observed during warm weather. Although loss from this disease is typically less than 5% of average, it can affect up to 100% in rare cases. Lettuce suffering from bottom rot usually loses a couple of wrapper leaves. Okay,
What I'm talking about is it had salmonella.
salmonella. I don't.
It got contaminated, and so it got recalled. But it got recalled like
But
multiple
hear me out
times.
though. All right, you can't tell me that you want romaine lettuce on a burger. You can't. Like romaine lettuce on a
Well, what I'm
burger
saying
is
is
like
romaine
eating a
lettuce doesn't
leaf.
have salmonella, so I'll take it.
Homie, let's look at. I'm googling this right now because I am. For me, I like my lettuce mixed, but um, overall, iceberg lettuce is a lot more useful than romaine lettuce. You know what I mean? Romaine lettuce,
Yeah,
it's not. It doesn't have the crunch. You know, if you're a texture guy, you need that crunch. It
true,
doesn't have the crunch.
true,
You
true,
know what I
true.
mean? And all in all, I mean, like, not to mention here, like romaine lettuce, man. I swear it runs right through my system. It really does. Sometimes I feel like I'm crapping out kale leaves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like romaine definitely goes hard in a salad. Like if you give me a sub sandwich, give me iceberg on that every day. But if I'm making like a salad with some like cut up chicken on it, some cheese and stuff, I want the romaine because
What?
I
No,
dude no
no, no,
because
no, no, no.
hear me
No
out. Hear me
shot.
out. Because the iceberg, it's just it doesn't have the texture or the shape. You either cut it up,
What?
you get the pre-cut iceberg lettuce,
What?
and then you end up at the you have all these like tiny little pieces that are constantly fumbling around. It's hard to eat with a fork. You can't eat it with a spoon. And then at the end, they're all stuck to the sides of the bowl. It's just such a pain in the butt. And if
No,
it's whole,
no.
it just doesn't work at all.
You're
You got this
wrong. You're wrong.
gigantic
You're wrong.
piece.
You're wrong. You're referring to bag salads here, for starters. Okay. You're referring to salad that you get out of a bag at Walmart. And for one, if you genuinely eat bag
No, I'm talking
salad,
about making my own salad
bro, I'm telling you, you're wrong on this.
with
Because
iceberg as the base or romaine as the base. I'm using romaine as the base.
romaine lettuce is what sticks. I guarantee you're wrong about that. Iceberg
No,
lettuce does not stick because it's crunchy, so when you stab into it, it gets on the fork. But romaine lettuce is soft, it's not thick, and when you put ranch on it, it sticks. You're wrong. 100% you're wrong. Right now.
look, man. I think at the end of the day, the real goat of salads, is spinach.
Nah.
Spinach salads are
No.
my go-to,
No.
bro.
No.
I'm telling you, get some spinach in a bowl. All right, get some bacon bits, some cut up chicken, some cheese, some cheddar, shredded cheese, some ranch. Go to town.
All
Just go to town.
right, ladies and gents. I'm about to state a very unpopular opinion here. Opinion that I know is about to upset Justin here. Spinach is mid. Not only
What makes
for
you say
one
that?
thing,
What makes you say
for
that?
one thing, spinach in terms of like lettuce versus spinach debate. All right, people love to have it all the time. Lettuce literally hydrates you while you're eating it, bro, because of how much water is inside of lettuce. So first off, when you eat lettuce, not only
Drink a
are you
glass of
eating
water.
not only are you eating
Drink a glass of
healthy,
water.
you're also getting hydrated while eating it. Spinach doesn't do that. Secondly, spinach only goes well if you complement it with something else in salads. You cannot have a spinach based salad with just like spinach carrots, and stuff like that, and not have lettuce in it because spinach doesn't have that flavor. It doesn't have that kick like the lettuce has. You
What
need a
what are
protein.
you saying?
You need a protein in order for a spinach salad to be good. You do not need a protein for a lettuce-based salad to be good.
That is true.
Plain and simple.
Spinach has more protein base than
No, no,
lettuce
no.
does.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for a spinach salad, right? Let's say you're vegan. Okay? You can't eat
You're
meat.
saying that you'd rather put salt or like dressing on lettuce and just eat it that way than you'd put dressing on spinach and just eat it that way.
I'm saying that in terms of an actual foundation of a salad, spinach isn't it.
Dude, I think it's more nutritional. All right,
No. I don't.
it is. It just is. It has more vitamins and it has more protein and it has more
Hold on.
carbs.
Hold on. Pause. Pause. Pause.
That is one of the biggest downfalls of salads, in my opinion, is that they don't bring the nutritional benefit that you think they do.
Listen, man.
All right, lettuce in a salad doesn't actually like if you put cheese and Italian dressing on lettuce, it's not actually really that good for you.
No, no, no.
It's like a
Hear me out, though. Hear me out, though. I get what you're saying. I do. But we're forgetting something here, though. Spinach, to my knowledge, I'm going to Google this just to make sure. Spinach isn't always in season. There's specific times of the year where spinach is better for you and like healthier for you. Lettuce grows everywhere. And since lettuce has so much water inside of it, you won't have a time of the year where it's like, oh man, this lettuce tastes bad. But you get spinach in winter, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste the same as when you get it inside of summer. Year round, lettuce beats it. Like, dude, if we're taking the long fight here,
dude. I
not
don't know
only
what you're saying. I ate a spinach salad today.
dude, if we're talking about
Literally today.
if we're talking about the long road here, lettuce has it. If we're talking about the short road here, lettuce still has
Well,
it.
because it doesn't lose as much of its flavor in the winter.
In the winter, spring, fall, everything. Lettuce,
What no?
yes,
I don't. I disagree.
absolutely.
I disagree.
Dude,
100%.
spinach
I
literally
disagree.
tastes like you're eating actual leaves ripped off the front of your house and put inside a bowl in the morning.
Okay, what does
Spinach,
lettuce taste like?
lettuce tastes like water. That's what makes it so good. Dude, I'm telling you, you get a salad, okay? Iceberg
Bro,
lettuce
imagine this.
base.
Imagine this:
No,
a
no, no,
spinach
because
salad
you're
with a
forgetting something.
glass of water.
No, no, no,
With a glass of
no, because
water.
you're forgetting something though. Texture. Lettuce has spinach beat.
No, I think spinach
Bro, no
beats
shot. You think spinach has better texture
in
than
a
lettuce?
salad. In a salad, I do.
No,
On a cheeseburger, for example, lettuce
no,
is beat.
no,
But in a salad, I'd
homie.
rather have
I am telling
spinach.
you, if you honestly
Spinach
think,
is soft and it's thin.
listen, if
Lettuce
you
is like
honestly think,
huge and it's crunchy,
no,
and
it's
so
not.
what you end up
Lettuce
with is
is
you end up
not
with these like
huge.
big.
Lettuce is only huge
Bro,
if you cut it huge. Lettuce is only huge if you cut it huge. When I go to work at Mission and we're cutting
you
lettuce,
can't help it because the stems are always going to be thick.
no, because
They just
here's
are.
the thing too, though, that you're forgetting about, right? You were just advocating for romaine lettuce. That is literally the thinnest green that you will have. It's thinner than spinach. And now you're trying to
I don't
say
think it's
that
thinner
it's
than
thick.
spinach.
Now you're trying to say that it's thick. What is the
You want to shut the window so
width?
the door doesn't fucking.
Just close the door.
What is the width of spinach?
I'm
I'm
about
googling
to
this.
go. I need to get my food. So. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Enough talk about salads and spinach. Right?
You're holding the L on this one.
We gotta.
All right, you're right though. We did spend just 10 minutes talking about lettuce. All right.
We gotta get to the world
Obviously,
of gaming.
we had the new Valorant map that released. You and I played it for the first time together yesterday. I wasn't a fan,
Look,
man. I'm not gonna say it's new. So like it's been out for a little while now, right? Or am I tripping?
it's been a little bit. It's been like a couple
Yeah, I
weeks,
think
I
it's been a
think,
few weeks
but
now, but I
it's fairly
wasn't.
new.
I don't like it, dude. To me, it feels like they're trying to mimic. It seemed like they were trying to take the good things from other maps and combine them, and in doing so, they made the worst map in the game for me.
I do agree that it does feel like they just shoved maps together, but they did something that I think was pretty creative and pretty cool, and that's the spinning doors that you have to activate. All right, because if that were to be an open tunnel, right, that means that you can get in and get out freely, but it also means that you're open if you're holding that angle, you're open for flank. All right, it means that to go in that room, you now no longer are worried about your flank because if someone opens that door, you like hear it, you know. But it also means that you can't escape. So a front attack, you're stuck. You know, like if you're getting pushed by 3 people and you're by yourself, you can't leave because by the time you hit the door, you're dead. So I think it's a really creative way to
No,
block sections of the map to make them accessible, but make it so that you need to perform an action to get to them. You can't just walk in there. You know, it pretty much it can divide a team in a way, but it's not like a hard divide because there's no cooldown on the door. You know,
I get what you're saying here, but
I think it opens up a lot of
for me,
strategic
the actual
play.
strategy behind it, I don't think it's there. Because, like you said, for one, Valorant is a game where when you play it, you need to have headphones blasting all the way up. Everyone needs to be quiet because you're trying to listen, and you need to hit flick shots, right? In my personal opinion, the revolving doors make it to where it's not as doable anymore. Because in Valorant, especially when you're defending, your whole job is to hold angles. Your job is to lock down your part of the map by holding a strategic angle that you think can go well when you're defending, right? But the new map, in a way, takes that out because when you're going B and you're pushing B through the middle and it's just that little doorway, that is a phenomenal angle to hold when you're on defense, right? But then what happens when you have one person holding that angle and then another person flanking? It takes out the actual, in my opinion, it takes out the actual skill because all you can do in that situation is just open up the door and run away. You know what I mean? It essentially requires 3 different angles to be held in order for the person to not escape through the doors. And in my mind, that kind of ruins the aspect of Valorant. You know what I mean?
Wow, great.
It doesn't require 3 angles. What do you mean?
Because if you have, for B, right in the middle, if you have the person holding the tight hallway that you need to walk through in order to get to B, if you have a person holding that angle, then you can't go through that way. But then you can go around the back area where you first spawn at, right, when you're attacking. But what happens if
And
there's
go
a
to that
person
revolving door.
that way? Well, then you can just take the cheap route and just go out the door. And yeah, like people say, like, oh, the door opens slow and this and that and blah blah blah.
Well, the same angle that watches that left hall also watches that door.
Yeah, but that's on C.
If they're on C, they're defending the B door and they're defending C's entrance.
But the point
They
I'm
can
making
see
though
both.
is in that particular situation, it provides a third route that can be exploited to either drag the game on longer or to flat out avoid gunfights. And when I play Valorant, and again, I'm not very good at Valorant, but when I do play Valorant, I like pushy characters. I like people like Sky, for example. And to me, it's nothing more aggravating than when I was on that map and I'm trying to push somebody and they open up that revolving door and they go through it, but I can't shoot through the door because you can't shoot through the door. And then they just use the door
Right.
spinning to hide behind it. So that way there's no angle where you can hit them from. I hate that. It's annoying to me, dude. I don't like it.
I but I think that's an interesting game mechanic that yeah, okay, it's a little annoying, but like that opens up the door for different types of strategies going in to
downpouring outside.
You fucking drenched.
I am drenched.
Sorry, Amanda just showed up at my door.
Oh, sorry. Here,
really
I'm just gonna
wet.
wipe rainwater on you.
You actually, you don't have to. You don't have to. This is not a Jada Smith music video. You don't have to whip
Oh
your hair
my
back and
gosh.
forth.
Oh, I can.
Please stop.
Yeah, I was gonna go to my dorm.
For all of the
And then I decided,
new people to the podcast, Justin is
Oh,
a
yeah,
college
Matthew.
student who shares a dorm.
We
with
were
me.
trying to
So
do our podcast thing.
Assuming summer's like 15, 16 weeks.
There are
it'd be like
currently
11
3
grand.
people in my dorm.
yeah, so
Wait, what?
Plus
How much
me.
are you
a
gonna
lot
get?
of background noise going on right now.
we've been 18 an hour.
Oh well, taxes.
Oh my
Well, oh yeah, with taxes they're taking away like probably.
But yeah, no, it's just
40%.
Okay. Well, basically what I'm trying to say is when you got those revolving doors,
You like
it means that it's like a hallway. But it functions a little bit differently because if you have team on one side and team on the other side, they're now split off. But you also don't know what's happening on the other side of the door. So when you open that door, there's a 50-50 that someone shoots you from the other side. You know what I mean? So it it's a risk using the door. But it also can really pay off, like you said, where they could use it to escape.
to me,
My biggest problem is the 3 points. I think 3-point maps are awful. They're totally.
I disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you there because if I'm not mistaken, it's called Haven. Let me
I
double
spent like
check.
an hour doing it today.
Did you design?
Say it one more time,
Yeah.
Matt.
Haven.
No, I'll go to the internet. And then I just
Haven's a
found out.
3-point map, and it's my favorite map in the game.
Yeah.
You didn't
Hello?
just get a PNG
See,
photo?
I hate them. I feel like it's just too much to do.
All right, bye bye. No, I disagree.
When you have 3 points, it means that on defense, and on a 2-point map, defense is usually consisting of 2 people on 1 point, 3 people on another point, and you have your 2 like setup characters generally on that 1 point, so that your other 3 are generally your offensive characters, and you just kind of you figure out which one they're going towards, and then on the offense side, you choose one or the other, and it also means that you have like a backup plan that if you push one, it doesn't work out, you go to the other one, and it's simple. When you get 3. I feel like the map gets too big. People get too spread out. On defense, you're spreading out 2, 2, and 1. Or if you don't put any on 1, which sometimes happens, and they push it, it ends up being this like super boring game of like 5 people stack plants and then they just defend.
No,
And
here's my deal.
I just think it's too
Okay.
it's too open of an area.
I disagree because there are kits that counter the argument that you're making right now, right? Yoru, he can teleport. Yoru could put his teleport on B while he's at A. He can go to A after putting his
There was so
teleport
much
on B
pulp
and
in
then
it.
teleport away. But here's the thing about Haven, though. Haven's map, a whole center is connected completely. And it's not a tight cornered map in terms of how it is in on Lotus. Because on Lotus, the center is
Lotus, the 3 points are completely separated.
yeah,
from
Lotus,
each other.
they're completely separated. Well, there's a little walkway that you can go through, but it requires you to use those doors, which not only take forever to open, you're also
Yes.
gambling getting shot from the other side. So that's the first issue with Lotus, right? Haven, they're all connected straight through. There's none of these opening doors, closing doors nonsense in it, right? So that's the first part of it that Haven does right. Secondly, controllers, in my opinion, are the most underused class in the game. Okay, Brimstone's amazing. And I like how on maps like Haven,
I think controllers are some of the most important.
exactly,
in the
they're some of the
game. I
most
think
important, but
duelists and
people don't
controllers
like
are the most
playing them.
important.
People like playing DPS. When I load up as a controller, and then there's 4, or not 4, sorry, but there's like 3 duelists, a Yoru Arena, and a Jet. Actually, I don't know if Jet's duelist. I'm gonna say Ray's there, but
Yeah, just a duelist.
but anyways, it just takes the fun off the game for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need, in my opinion, we need more 3-point objective maps because they force you to actually have a decent team comp. They force you to have comms, which you need, especially when you're playing ranked.
Did you do any of the?
You don't know, man. Haven's a great map. I think Lotus just really fumbled with the 3 points. You know what I mean? Because you say that, well, you spread out a lot, which is true. You are spread out a lot, but Lotus is a huge map, and it has 3 points. Haven, if I'm not mistaken, is the smallest map in the game.
Knocked out.
The smallest map in the game. And they're all connected through. That's what makes Haven do it right, and that's where Lotus falls short.
I like Haven as a map, but it sucks when you're playing a character that generally needs to commit to 1 point, and you're pretty much like 33% chance that you committed to the right point. You know what I mean? It opens up too many options, and it makes it so hard to like get team fights going because it feels like generally offense pushes 5 people one way, and they just kind of 2 people or 1 person has to stall them and hope that their team can rotate from freaking C to A. And C to A takes forever to get to. So you're just sitting there holding them off, and then if they plant, you just lost.
I wouldn't
now
say
it's
it takes
5v3.
forever, if I'm going to be honest.
Dude, the walk from Haven to get from A to C, the bomb's already been planted.
If you have open comms, because that's the first thing you need on the 3 objective maps, you need open comms. So for starters, if we have, for example, when I play on Haven, it's a 2-1-2 split. We have 2 people A, 1 person B, 2 people C, right? And then what happens is whatever side calls out, if there's no one mid, whatever side calls out first saying that like there's people there, the person from mid goes there while the other 2 stay on their point. And then if they call out if there's more than 2, that's when you're supposed to rotate with it. Because if you can pick off 2 people on the team and your whole team stays alive, that's a really good position to be in, you know what I mean? So with open comms, that situation that you just said that can happen wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff that you're complaining about with these maps, it isn't a mechanical issue as much as it's just a skill issue that people need to overcome. Because communication is probably the biggest skill cap that you can have in a game like Valorant, if we're just being honest here.
True.
So that's my thought on it.
You should still go.
I've always been a bigger fan of smaller maps. Like even in COD, like my favorite map was always Rust and Hijack.
Hijack's a decent
Because
sized map.
they're small. But Hijack, there's always something going on. Like you always have angles to watch. Like you run out of the room and there's somebody.
But hear me out though.
Whereas like some of the maps are just absolutely enormous, and you like barely see anybody.
Hear me out. Hijack, there's always something going on because there's only 3 areas of the map where people would want to meet up to fight people to begin with. Hijack's a pretty big map. Objectively speaking, Black Ops 2 had some of the biggest multiplayer maps in it. Out of all of the
I have 40 million
Call of Duties, they had like some of the biggest maps in it, and they had a lot of them. But Hijacked was not a big map, or Hijacked was not a small map. It was a small map for the game it was in, but when you compare it to other maps like Rust, Hijacked is pretty big.
Don't give me packet. That fucking thick. It was like 10 pages long.
Like Hijacked had.
Wait, hold on, mate. Hold on. Are your clothes wet? Oh, I was about to say, I didn't even think about the fact that you came in here soaking wet and then just hopped on my bed. Okay. All right, sorry. I was about to have to slapbox Amanda really quick. live in the recording. It was not going to get edited out.
No, it's not. I'm not editing this. Yeah, this is all one take, guys. But yeah, no.
One takes are the best takes.
We're recording a podcast. But yeah, no, I mean, my last thing I have to say about Lotus as a whole, because we got off base a little bit. Lotus was a good idea that they fumbled on. Having another 3-point map was a great idea. The whole thought where it's like under the sea theme fits the new character really well.
True.
They just fumbled when they were
It's a beautiful
actually-
map, too.
Yeah, like they just fumbled when it came to actually creating the map itself. The actual setup of the
Yeah.
map, they did it wrong. If they would have made
Yeah,
Lotus
I'll be honest.
smaller, and if they would have had all the routes like how Haven has that connected it, Lotus would have been an S tier map. It would have been perfect. It would have been amazing. But it doesn't. And for that reason, I don't like it.
The point layouts are so bad. I don't know if you had enough time to really like analyze each point.
I did not.
Bro, mid has one tiny high ground that is like a ramp that leads to a door to go behind it. The point itself is like arched in, and there's like 3 different ways to look at the point. So it's like super tiny. It's this like super tiny room. There's a bunch of different places to look, like a bunch of different angles to look at it, and there's like barely any high ground. The A point, I think it's A, is to the right of it. I found out has this. Well, it has the revolving door, but then next to the revolving door is the angle you can, or the open hall you can go into. But there's 2 places you can rat to the left of that, while the point's to the right of it. The high ground has one way to access it, through a zip line, because the other way that it looks like you can access it, it's like a little ramp. You can't go up, and I tried to go up it and I died because I was just running against a wall that you can't access, which means that that whole area to defend is like pointless, because if anybody gets above you, they pretty much just, it's a free kill because it's like a super terrible spot. But it also, there's no escape. So if you're in that spot, you pretty much just, you lose. And the other side, so to the left of B, is possibly their best made one. But even that, the wall structures they used for cover makes the point just feel really crowded. Like it's a super tiny area, and there's just like walls everywhere. So you end up on it, and I keep finding myself using abilities in places that sometimes even harm my team because I just have no idea what's going on. I can't see anything that's going on. I just kind of like pray that I'm looking in the right place, because there's just someone could be right next to you and you don't even know it because there's just walls. It's like a maze going around that point.
So
there's generally no team coordination because I can't cover my teammate who's standing 3 feet away from me because there's a wall between us, and a wall that's covering the areas he's watching. And so it becomes just kind of like this frenzy of everybody running in circles until they see an enemy and then they just shoot.
Hello?
And you just do that till one team wins. So I'm gonna say the map sucks.
One second, Justin.
All right. So since I got the podcast to myself right now, here's a PSA on all the reasons why you shouldn't talk to my friend Amanda. All right. For one, she's only 4'11". All right. And every
I am
short
back.
girl that you know,
But I am
you've
intrigued.
interrupted my PSA. Every girl below the 5-foot threshold, always a monster.
100%.
She's always got that attitude, that urge to fight people over absolutely nothing. 2, her forehead.
Ooh, that was my next
So
point.
big. Okay. Like, don't ever try to drive a car with her in the passenger seat because the reflection off that thing makes it actually so dangerous. You should get a ticket. You should get a citation for driving with someone as dangerous as Amanda in your passenger seat, just from the glare off her forehead. Don't even get me started on her shoes, bro. Her feet are so tiny. She is a full-grown adult wearing children's shoes. Children's shoes. How could you trust someone? It's like the anti-clown.
It's kind of funny
right?
that he brought
Clowns
up
are creepy for wearing giant shoes. Amanda's creepy for wearing the tiniest shoes you could possibly imagine.
It's funny how you bring up the forehead Because I remember one of the first things I said to Amanda when I had met her was, if there was a Mount Rushmore for people with big foreheads, you'd be all four of the faces. And I remember you telling me that she got a little butthurt about that one. But I thought it was a good one, dude. I don't know.
Okay, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 6 people now. This podcast has the most viewers it will ever have. Right here in my bedroom. Yeah, we're recording it right now. We're 30 minutes in. No racial slurs yet.
Jesse, do it.
Oh, Jesse, don't do it. Jesse. I'm sorry, I'm having audio problems.
Well, I have the time to myself. I would like to make it known that Justin's goatee that you see, it's not real. Fun fact about Justin's goatee is that he actually has to use makeup on the front of his chin to put it on there because the mole that's underneath his lip is so vibrant in color compared to the rest of his face that he needed a little something extra. So that's just a little for your information about your other
Everything
goatees.
that he just said is completely and utterly untrue. It is hearsay.
Nope, it's definitely
I don't
not.
own makeup.
I
I don't
know.
own makeup.
I know how hard it is for this man here to
I
accept it.
I grow a goatee like a man.
Justin's 20 years old.
I fall
The
asleep,
man
and when I
cannot.
wake up,
The man
there's
cannot grow
hair on my
facial hair. His beard's not
and
real.
that is
The
all I will
beard's
say
fake.
about that.
Okay, he
It's a
doesn't have a
goatee,
beard.
not a beard.
If we were comparing
right.
goatees, his goatee would be equivalent to the goatee of Donkey from Shrek. If we're comparing my goatee is to be compared to Walter White's goatee because I am that iconic when it comes to my goatee. All right. If there was a Mount Rushmore of goatees, Justin would be the trash can that people dump their kids into and forget him there. All right. Plain and simple.
Sexually assaulted by other robots or something.
Dude, no, the wind probably knocked him
Also,
over.
fun fact about Justin is that he is an alcoholic. He gets wine drunk regular basis.
On a regular basis,
Regular basis.
what do you think?
Where
What do you
he's
think
at least,
I'm getting this
dude.
stuff
He's
from?
at least a once a week kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? He's off.
Not true.
He's.
However,
What is Dolphin Emulator?
Dolphin Emulator, I'm glad you asked. Dolphin Emulator is
God.
the modern way to play old GameCube and Wii games on your laptop.
Not
It's a simple 2-step installation, not sponsored at all. Download it, and all your favorite games are on here. You got Crash Nitro Kart, Mario Party 7, Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario Sunshine. Need I name more? I do not need to name more because you're thinking to yourself already, man, how much does this cost? I need this in my life. It's bloody free, bro. It's bloody free. Grab yourself a copy today. Dolphin, if you're listening to this, sponsor us.
So I have a funny
We're
story
asking for a minimum of $1.
I need to share. I got something I need to share with everybody. First, I'm gonna go shut my door, and then yeah.
You need a spotter that's gonna help kill you.
Another thing about Amanda that you really, don't want to know, is that her uncle is a very famous dirt bike racer. You know what that means?
Okay.
It inflates her ego. She thinks she's hot because she knows this famous person.
What did I just?
But it does not. It does not transfer to the bloodline. She is the perfect example. All right, continue, Nate.
All right, Justin. I want for you to before I go on with the story real quickly, I want for you to share with the viewers. Tell us a little bit about your day-to-day life as a college student. What is that like?
All right, I set an alarm for about 45 minutes before my first class of the day starts. I wake up, rise and grind. I walk, I'm in a dorm, so I walk out to the, communal bathrooms, brush my teeth, say hi to the homies I see along the way, take a shower, get dressed. It's a little cold outside. I put my warm attire on. I walk through the crowd of other college students, and I make it to my building. Sit down, take in information, take notes, and when all those are done, I generally go back to my dorm, do some homework, catch up on some homework. I watch some YouTube. I personally like to take the intellectual grind past school, and I play some chess. I better myself at chess, keep the brain sharp, remind myself, you know, the strategies of war that you have to employ day-to-day life by checkmating their king, and then I go where the night takes me. You know what I mean? Then I lay back and I let
Fun fact.
I relax.
Fun fact about chess. We use chess.com, right? So we go online.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. So we go online and we'll play chess online. Okay. And when we do go online and we're playing chess and whatnot, hold on. First, look at what I'm going to text you.
Probably.
There we go.
Maybe I'll tag along with Jesse one of these nights to learn something.
Okay. So we use chess.com. And when we actually go on chess.com to play, we each started up in December, a little shy of New Year's. And there was a bot called Dasher. And Dasher on the actual app itself, they made him really hard to beat. Like his level was like 1600 or 1500, one of the two. But the way that Dasher's actual bot itself was like mechanically done was for him to be as aggressive as he possibly could. And chess, as most people know, it's a very intellectual game. Dasher knew every counter to every move that you did. And you had to figure out a move that you could do where he would do the counter of it to in order to beat him. And I remember this clear as day. It was like 12:30 at night, and Justin's trying to beat Dasher. And he's getting pretty close. It's it's a good match. Like it's actually a good chess match. And I just hear him start yelling. Not like screaming, but man, oh man, did he start losing it. Dasher beat him when he was like 2 moves away from a checkmate or something like that. And he literally kept me up ranting about it. So do you care to tie in on the Dasher incident?
Yeah, so Dasher is the worst chess creation of all time, simply put. I disagree with it on every single level. No matter what you do, it knows. It knows. You think to yourself, there ain't no, like, you think to yourself, like, I take this piece, and then I take this piece, and it's free, and then I win, right? You're wrong. Because somehow, this absolute unit of a bot immediately checkmates you.
Yep. I remember. And here's the thing too about that as well. When you auto force checkmates, or not checkmates, but when you auto check somebody and they have to move their king or something that can protect the king, if you do that to an extent and you're not checkmating them, you get a stalemate. And no one wins. It's basically a draw. Dasher always figured out a way around that. You never stalemated against Dasher. No matter how hard you tried, you could not stalemate against Dasher. And, when I play chess, because I'm very average, I'm like 600 and something at the moment. When I do play chess, I am not I'm not the kind of chess player that thinks that far ahead. I'm not a very strategic person at all. So when I go on and I play chess, I'm beating these bots that are like ranked 1,000 to 1,500. But I go online and I play against actual people that do like some of like the most like random things where it's like that made no sense. Why would you do that? And I keep losing. I don't know why. But all in all, chess isn't a game that I see myself playing a lot of anymore. If I'm just being honest.
Why?
I feel like it's a game that's like it's frustrating. a lot. It's very, very frustrating, but it's worth the frustration.
What do you actually
I think.
gain in day-to-day life by playing chess?
Well, see, there's plenty of things in life, like plenty of things you can do in life that don't gain you anything, like overall. But
You're dodging my question,
it's a
though.
big but.
I'm waiting.
I don't think that's necessary.
What does chess provide you on a personal level that makes you want to play it?
Accomplishment.
So it makes you feel like you did something useful.
Well, I feel like when because it's such a hard game to play, that when you do like win, it's showing that you're really like you're putting in the work,
So you're
that you're
saying,
actually
you're
you're
saying
accomplishing something.
you're saying that it makes you feel accomplished because since it's such a difficult game to get down, the better you become at it, the more accomplished you feel.
Yeah,
But let's just
because
say,
it's so hard to play.
wouldn't you say though that there is tons of other games that you can play that are more amusing that can do that?
But not as like
No, think
they're not as intellectual games.
I disagree though. There is,
Give me an example.
dude.
No,
I still remember one of the games that I always struggled to play through was puzzle games. Right, I'm not good at them. Like when I played through Resident Evil Village for the first time, dude, I was a mess. I couldn't figure anything out. I had to keep looking up like YouTube tutorials and stuff like that.
God damn.
Would you say that there are puzzle games out there that are more fun than chess that can make you feel more accomplished, more like I did something than chess? Because let's face it, actually learning chess isn't hard. We learn chess after one game. It's getting good at chess that makes you feel so accomplished. It's like I got good
Yeah.
at something like this. That's what makes it so satisfying. Wouldn't you say that there's plenty of other puzzle games, like actual video games that you can do that for that are more
Well, like
amusing?
Resident Evil, I don't think is a good example because Resident Evil's shtick isn't really that it's
All right, then hear me out. Hear me out.
isn't that it's like mentally difficult. It's a skill thing. You know what I
Zelda,
mean?
the Legend of Zelda games. Wouldn't you
I don't
say
think
that those are puzzle
that
games?
it's as difficult. They're puzzle games, yeah.
We were playing you guys for,
The main
Would you
idea
say
is
that you
to
have more
solve puzzles.
fun playing them?
and I see them.
Zelda games versus
Initially, like I'd say probably like in a short term sense, I'd say that I have more fun playing Zelda, but long term, I'd have more fun playing chess.
long term. You think that you'd be more amused by playing chess than Zelda?
Yes, because Zelda is very simple puzzles, and there's only so much of it to go around.
That was a bad night.
When it comes to chess, every single game is like a new puzzle,
Not a good time.
but you're constantly bettering yourself at it as you play it.
Yeah, but I would disagree on the constantly betting yourself part.
Like what happened?
I have seen many people play chess and they blow no matter like how much they play. Like chess, everyone's like, oh, chess is a skill issue, and it is for the most part. You have to put in the hours to work, but I think that there's some people that just simply cannot understand how chess works and actually do well playing it.
Try it.
No, Geiger.
You know what I
We're
mean?
gonna do it right now?
Yeah.
Like Lauren, for example. I love her. I don't see Lauren being able to genuinely like become
Amanda, this is
skillful
your
at chess
How is
just
it my
because the
fault?
way that Lauren
You
thinks.
volunteered.
I
whatever the
am
fuck
I am a thinker
You
where I can only learn things if I actually do them. Chess is the kind of game that's, truth being told, best for visual learners. If you pick up on stuff by looking at something, you are going to exceed in chess because the whole time you're analyzing the board. Now, if I was able to, inside of a chess match that I'm playing on a board, like in person, pick up a piece, move it there, be like, okay, that's not the best piece, move it back, then chess would be something that'd be more up my alley. But because I need to learn by actually doing and actually playing it, chess is something that makes it really hard for me to pick up. Because I can't learn it by visually looking at it, and I can't learn at it by listening to someone explain to me how to do stuff. I have to figure it out on my own by doing it myself,
Well,
which
I
naturally
think what
makes
you're
it
missing
hard
is
to
like
pick up.
chess theory is kind of someone who already has gone through and tried like a million different ideas and put them all in a book. You look at their theory and you study their theory and you practice their theory, and that's how we get like openings and things like that, like the Queen's Gambit. You build these concepts, and as you play them, you start to learn what they look like and how to make them happen. And that's why I think practicing chess over and over again is so rewarding, because you start to find other areas in your life as well where you can see patterns and use patterns to solve common problems. And it's kind of like a switch you flip when you start playing chess and you start seeing all these different patterns. You start losing all the time. You don't get why. It's like these people basically played like an exact perfect opening that they knew beforehand because they studied that opening and they knew that they could play it and they knew what you were going to do and how to punish what you did. And then you can learn those and then learn how to then counteract what they did. And people are yelling in my room. But I think that's part of the value of practicing it, is that as you practice it, you get to learn more of these situations, and then your ability to say like, I have two rooks, and I see I have a rook, and I see I have a line where there's no pawn. I want to move my rook there because I know that that can open me up to using it. Oh, I'm watching that square. Well, if I can get my bishop there, my bishop is now protected by my rook, and you start like looking at those patterns, and then when you see that and you go for it and you accomplish it, it feels amazing. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. There's definitely a rewarding sense to chess, and a big part of the reason why I think it feels that way, especially for us, is because naturally speaking, you and I always played games competitively. Um, but the thing about competitive games, especially games like Overwatch and Brawlhalla and games that we played, was that the actual ranking system itself, the higher you get in ELO, it doesn't mean right away that you're going to be ranking up. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, in Overwatch, you got to go gold 1, gold 2, gold 3, gold 4, or vice versa. I mean, um, you have to get 200 points per before ranking up again. But chess, there's not a ranking system like that. It's purely number based. So watching that number go up can feel more rewarding. Whereas when you play a game like Overwatch, it's like, well, I still got to do this. I still got to win 6 more games in a row to actually rank up. You know what I mean? So I get where you're coming from on that. I definitely think we found some common ground on the chess topic, but we better get this moving along. So let me hit you with this.
Shit, what was
If
that?
there was
Okay.
a single competitive game out there, a game that was a game that you played competitively, that looking back on it, you wish you could go back to that time and replay through all of that again, what game launch would you want? What actual game build up and actual game release would you want to go back to? Like the act.
I think the most obvious, the one that is glaring me in the face, is Overwatch.
Really?
That is my most obvious answer, because when Overwatch came out, uh, competitively speaking, so it didn't start off competitive. I remember, like, obviously I was a TF2 boy, and Overwatch is kind of like TF2 but more polished in my opinion.
TF2 is kind of
And
like an Team Fortress 2 is interesting because
I think it's a very shenaniganery game,
exactly.
if that's even a word. It's kind of meant to be goofy. It's not really meant to be serious.
I don't know, dude. People
Um,
who play comp in TF2 are some of the
there is serious. I mean, every game has a serious setting. But
TF2,
like
generally speaking,
between weapon loadouts and skins and all the game modes they have and the character like designs, I don't think that it was made with the idea that you should play this game and try to be good at it. You should play the game and try to have fun. And I don't think Overwatch was made that way. I think Overwatch was
Overwatch
made
has
to pick it up
definitely
and
been
be good at it.
it's always been a competitively based game. So you mean to tell me that if
Mhm.
you could have gone back to one game launch where it's like you could go back in time and play through that whole game's era all over, yours
100%
would be Overwatch, huh?
Overwatch. And the reason why is that so like I was saying, like Overwatch didn't start off with competitive, it started off with just quick play. And so at the time that kind of was just competitive in a sense because you didn't gain or lose anything, but you took it serious because it was the only thing you had. Um, and by the time they released competitive, it was still this way in that the game was simplistic in its balancing, where people were still discovering how to use different characters and which characters are good. And there was this evolution of discovering what's good, what's bad, along with people getting good and how to counter certain characters. That there was this development of back and forth countering, such as like learning that you could. Bastion's overpowered, right? So like Bastion comes out, and he's like super strong because he just mows people down. And then you realize that you switch to Genji, and you start doing a dash into Bastion's face, and then deflect, and then he kills himself because he's deflecting so much damage back at himself. Well, then Bastions learn that that's what a Genji wants to do. So as soon as the Genji dashes in, the Genji insta deflects because he thinks you're going to shoot at him. You don't shoot at him, you wait, and then you kill him when the deflect's over. So then Genjis start dashing in, and they don't deflect immediately. They start shooting you. So then you end up in this position where you either eventually die, or you either eventually die, you get up and try to leave, or you start shooting and then they deflect and then you kill yourself. So it's kind of like this back and forth where the counters have their own counters to them. Whereas nowadays the balancing is so intricate and complex that sometimes you just don't have a counter. Like the flashbang is no longer stun now it's a heat-seeking missile, and it's like cool and all,
No, you can still
but when
flash with
you
McCree. Well, now
no
Cassidy,
you're
but
the flash is no Cassie's flash is gone. It got replaced by a grenade that he throws that is heat seeking and it latches onto you and then explodes. And it does like 100 damage. So if you're like a squishy character, there's not really any counterplay to it because just by being near him in general, he could easily throw it at you and he doesn't need to use skill to do it. And the window for you to really counter that is so small. Like as a Genji, there's almost nothing you can do because he's going to beat you at range and he's going to beat you at close range now. And so you just lose.
I
And
think that
it just
that's one thing about.
it's not
There's a lot of
like it
things
was.
that happened in Overwatch 2 that broke my heart. The truth being told, Overwatch 2 as a whole, it had a lot of great ideas, but it fumbled hard in a lot of ways for me. To begin with, I didn't like the one tank. Like when it came to me and the one tank thing, I wasn't a fan of it at all. I feel like one tank in Overwatch took out some of the fun for me because I was a heavy tank person. I loved playing tanks. I loved playing with tanks. I loved playing against tanks.
Dude, tanks are better than they've ever been right now, dude.
I disagree. I think that double stacking tank was a great strategy because it had a lot
I think
of
it was one of the most toxic strategies.
it was, but that's what makes games like that so fun. When you have a perfectly balanced game where everything goes according to plan, everything works out perfectly, there's nothing to complain about. Games like that, while yes, competitively speaking, they thrive. When you want to log on and actually have fun and just play the game to play the game, it gets boring very quickly. When I played Overwatch, I spent a majority of my time in either quick play or I spent a majority of my time inside of the arcade queue. I wasn't huge in the competitive league of Overwatch. The actual games that I was like really competitive in was like Brawlhalla, Dead by Daylight, games like that. You know, like more of like solo games. You know what I mean? So for me, when I go to log on to Overwatch 2 and the actual regular gameplay of it, you don't have double tank no more. It hurts me a little bit, dude. Because I always had a lot of fun playing double tank. I mean, like when you have a Ryan, for like his shield and like his shooting and stuff like that, like his fire charge. I loved it when you would have the Rhine with the hog behind the Rhine, because the Rhine keeps the hog safe, and then the hog can pull a hook over, and then the Rhine and the hog just get that easy pick in. You know what I mean? Like there was so many satisfying plays that you could make to get picks that could help you win games when you had two tanks. And yeah, I'll admit it was toxic, but it was a fun kind of toxic. You know what I mean? Where it's like when you're on the receiving end of it, you're yelling, you're screaming, you're mad. But when you do it to people, it's exhilarating. You know what I mean? Um, but that's probably like the least of the problems that Overwatch 2 had. You know, another problem that I actually thought was a big problem was how they made it free to play. I I was well, not only was it free to play, but also the fact that they didn't change the servers too. Um, I wanted Overwatch 2 to be a completely different game. I wanted for the game to be brand new. Everyone starts over.
I agree on that one.
Everyone starts over. You didn't have golden guns. You couldn't play with people from Overwatch 1. I wanted for it to be a $60 game that you had to purchase. I wanted for it to be that new Overwatch game that would take it to the next level. You know what I mean? And when I
And I have something to say on that topic, because you know how in Overwatch 1 we had the loot boxes and there was like a legendary system where you guaranteed got legendaries so often.
yes,
I have every non-event, common, and rare in the game, and then I have most of the non-event legendaries and epics, just from how much I played the game back in the day. Now, event-wise, I have a lot, but there was like a very long period in which I didn't play the game like years, and so a lot of event stuff's come out since then. They took those same skins that I got for free just by playing the game. I have like 600 hours into it or something like that, or somewhere closer to 800, I think. And they made them like paywall locked for like $40. And it's like, dude, I have a skin sitting in my inventory that I will never use because it's one of my 6 legendary skins that I got for my one character I barely play, and skins I don't even like because I have the one skin I do like. And people are out here spending $40 for that skin, and it's just sitting in my inventory
well, it's
along with
because
my million of other skins. And
it's
it's
because
like,
they needed income. They needed money. And they didn't make it to where you had to purchase the game. So now they're trying to make it to where you have to purchase things in store to transfer over your stuff. And what's the point of even playing Overwatch 2 at that point? The ranking system in terms of actual elo itself, basically the same. I mean, like there's like a couple like tweaks here and there to like make it more fair. But it's
they
still,
did change the rank up system so it's less elo hellish.
that's what I'm saying. Like they changed that, but apart from that, the ranking system's still really similar. Overwatch 1 servers that close and then they're like, "Oh, you can pay money to transfer over your stuff." Well, it's like, why would I pay money to transfer over stuff that I had already unlocked? If you're going to do it that way where it's the same servers, then you should, like, if I had to pay for the game, so be it. But why should I have to pay to get the, like, how you said, like 600 hours? If I played for that long, why would I have to pay to receive my stuff back? Like you made,
Wait, you don't have to pay to receive your stuff back.
you just said you had to pay like $40 for your skins.
Oh no, you misinterpreted what I said. What I was saying is that I have this skin because I played on the original Overwatch 1 and got it out of a loot box. And it meant nothing. It was just I leveled up, I got a loot box, I opened the loot box. After so many loot boxes, you're guaranteed a legendary. That legendary happened to be this one. And I never use it because I have so many legendaries for that character. And I don't like that one. If I were to be a new player coming in, I'd have to spend $40 on that skin. And I think that's ridiculous because previously, like me, I got that skin for nothing and I don't even care about it. And other people, if they want to, have to spend $40 and they're locked. They cannot get it free to play anymore. And it seems stupid to me that you went from the skin being free to play that you could just get it randomly for completely free So you had to pay $40, like not even like $10, $40. That's a ridiculous margin. That means that my account, skin wise, is worth probably around like $800, and I didn't spend a penny on the game. But nowadays you can't reach that sort of value without spending a penny. Like it's locked, and I just think locking it like that just created a bigger divide. Our viewpoint was that if they reset golden guns and stuff, puts everybody in an even playing field, everybody has to re-earn the skins and stuff, and it's fun again, because after you have so many, it's not really as fun anymore. Now they create an even bigger divide where it's, if you hadn't played before the game got transferred over, you just can't compete with them. So like it's from my point of view, it's further from the equality we were looking for than they would have been if they even just decided to keep it the same. And I find it like a really scummy business practice that they chose.
Still though, I'm just kind of in awe, really, because I feel like this game, Overwatch 2, it had so much hype. Remember when we found out it was releasing, and you called me entirely just to tell me it was releasing, and we wound up talking about how hyped it was gonna be and like how fun it was gonna be. But then one thing kept happening after the other. One thing kept happening after the other that completely turned us away from it. And now it's like, not only can we not go back to play original Overwatch, which in all honesty, I find more fun to play than Overwatch 2. On top of that, how many hours do you think total we've spent on Overwatch 2? Because it hasn't been a lot.
Me on Overwatch 2, I'd say probably like 30 hours.
Yeah.
I played before I stopped playing.
I'm about.
And to be fair, I like the game. When I just log in and I play a quick play match, I do have a good time. I like the single tank thing now. I feel like it makes the game less hectic. It makes it more like, you can actually see the battlefield, see what's happening. It makes tanks feel more valuable. It means that healers have an easier time healing people, because it was frustrating healing 2 tanks and 2 DPS. It just got to be way too much. I might even start recording some games to put over these podcasts. But I think, to go back to your question, like, if I could go back to the way, I think, like, Brawlhalla, compare it to Dead by Daylight, those 2 games, if you were to go back to when those games came out versus now, not even, in my opinion, not even close. Like, the modern version is so much better than the old version. I would much rather play that. But Overwatch, I think the original Overwatch was mounds better than the modern Overwatch.
I agree. So,
all right, we've hit an hour.
We have.
So I think we need to start wrapping this up.
All right. Well, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
Before we get going here, we got about an hour and 8 minutes for this podcast. So we have a little bit of time left.
We're an hour and 3 right now.
Okay. Little,
so speed round.
Little last second question, okay, for our closing topic. In your opinion, when it comes to Dead by Daylight, how much do you think they have improved in the last year?
A ton. Absolute ton. I think above average they have improved.
So,
I'm very impressed with the changes that they have made with the game.
The actual changes that have been put into Dead by Daylight, not only has it made it more friendly to newcomers who don't understand how to play the game, it also made it more amusing for the people who actually grind the game every single day. Doing the elo system, killer by killer base, like this killer has this much, this killer has that much. Not only is that an amazing perk to have, I remember playing base, like Clown, for example. I got up to like red ranks with Clown, and then I bought Spirit, tried playing Spirits against red ranks, and I dropped back down to like intermediate, you know what I mean? So the killer base ranking system, fantastic. I don't think that there was... I think that of all the things that they added in, that was the best.
Me personally, I think the best thing they added in was the change to the perks.
The perk change was nutty.
So yeah, now being able to level if you max somebody out, you just get their perks on every other character, I feel like it makes the game so much more casual friendly. Because I'll be honest, one of the biggest things that kept me from grinding Dead by Daylight is it felt like you had to invest so much time to reach the point you wanted to. If I wanted one killer and one survivor to be like my main, I had to make a 4 perk survivor build, which generally meant that I had to get 3 or 4 characters prestiged level to get the perks, and then you need to level up your own character to get them high enough level and get lucky enough to unlock the perk to tier 3. And then for killers, you had to do the whole same thing. And by the time you get that, it just takes forever. And so now that you can guarantee, like, I want this perk build, all I need to do is level up the character to prestige level, and then I automatically have it on every killer and every survivor. That means that I can keep switching. Oh, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Is if I want to play a new killer, right? I have to completely choose a new build and do the whole thing over again. But now you're mixing and mashing without having to invest so many blood points and getting so lucky. It was a luck based system as well.
That is
I
true.
think
The
that
luck
that
based.
really made it casual friendly.
I think that all in all, Dead by Daylight in the last couple of months have taken tons of huge leaps forward. Because I remember 2 years ago when we were playing, every update it got worse. Every update
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
released, there would be a new bug that they would have to fix. But I think that with the new changes and the new actual like development to the game, I think that it made Dead by Daylight a much more promising game and a game that could actually attract the audiences of other people. Um, with that being said, my closing remarks for this podcast are going to be this: we might be seeing Jason Voorhees in Dead by Daylight.
Stay tuned, y'all, because if it happens, we're covering it. You know what I'm saying? Ah ha ha
um,
ha.
So that's for the closing remarks on the podcast. Thank you to everyone who is watching. Obviously, Justin and I, we had a good time doing this. We do podcasts.
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing more
Yep.
of
So
these.
we do
It's
podcasts.
gone.
We do it every Thursday night.
Come on.
We tend to upload anywhere between 8 and 10. As for the next podcast, you'll see us Sunday nights, same thing, anytime between 8 and 10. The next podcast, Justin's gonna be our host. We're gonna take turns. I host on Thursdays. He's gonna host on Sundays. So I want for everyone to stay tuned. Hope you guys learned some new things about video games, and I hope you guys give out a try in the new video games. And you'll hear from us again next Sunday. Anything from you, Justin?
Shit where you can,
Live your best lives, fellas.
Yeah.
We out.
All right, folks. That's it for us. We'll see you on Sunday.
It's raw.